Welcome to the Parkland Report. I'm Stephanie Stewart, Vice President for Strategic Partnerships and Workforce Innovation here at Parkland College, and your host for the show that talks to the people making things happen here at Parkland College. Today, we're going to be talking all about the planetarium and the art gallery, and we're going to talk with the people who are making those things happen in our community. First, Eric Johnson, who is the director of the Starkle Planetarium. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're a regular guest at this point.
It seems that way, yes.
Our annual visit to talk about the stars.
Right, exactly. Yes, indeed.
Before we got started, I asked you if you'd share just a little bit of background about our planetarium and history and how distinct it is.
Yeah, one of the big initiatives that happened across educational institutions all around the country back in the 1960s was really connecting people to the Apollo program. I'm sorry, not just the Apollo program, the space program in general. So while those astronauts were actually training in planetariums before going to space and eventually going to the moon for a few of them, there were also high schools and middle schools and colleges that were installing planetariums all over the country. And our very first president of Parkland College, William Starkle, one of his dreams was to have a cultural center on the one edge of campus, not just having a planetarium, but also having a theater. And he had realized that dream in the last year of his presidency here, way back in 1987. So while we see back in our archives, the initial models do not look exactly like what we see here now today. We do have that planetarium here to this present day, and what we love about it is not only is it a great resource for the Parkland College community, it's also a great way to connect the college community with many schools all throughout the area. It allows many school children to have their very first experience coming to college, and we also happen to introduce them to the universe.
Well, that's a great summary. We're also one of the largest planetariums downstate. Is that
I would say that's accurate. We have the second largest dome in Illinois. Only Adler Planetarium in Chicago, which happens to be the oldest planetarium in the United States, has larger domes than we do. There are a couple of other community colleges in Illinois that also have planetariums, but you are right that there's not that many throughout central and southern Illinois. There is one over at Illinois State University, but the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign does not have one. So we get folks that come from Paris and Effingham to come see us. So they take the trek to get under our dome.
No, that's great information. Talking about Adler Planetarium, I think one of our shows was just recently completed by the folks at Adler. Do you want to share about what that show is and how people can see it?
Absolutely. We're very proud to introduce this into our repertoire. They've been working on a show for the last couple of years that they just completed, and when they had previewed it for a number of planetarium workers at a state meeting that we hosted back in April, we wanted to be one of the first people to pick up that license. The program is called Naya and the Multiverse. So some of you might have heard about the multiverse. I know you've probably seen it in like 15 Marvel movies by now.
That's my frame of reference.
Exactly, right? Well, the fact is they're going to give you some of that scientific basis behind that multiverse. And plus, Naya is a young black woman who is actually very excited about astrophysics, and she's also really big into comic books and Afrofuturism, and it's really just a sumptuous visual feast, this program is.
Sumptuous visual feast.
I know, I'm sure I stole that from somewhere, so I don't know.
That's great. Yeah. So what are some of the other shows that are always on the docket at our planetarium?
We have a great selection of programs that we're always airing. In September this year, we are re-airing another show that we had acquired a license from California called Expedition Reef, because I love coral reefs. I think I've talked with you about that a couple years back. We have other shows that we rotate in and out from time to time. We have such a large selection of programs that we only give them about a 1-month run, and then you might be able to see them again in the near future. One other special program that we are offering in October is a show that actually doesn't use our projectors at all. Okay, we still have, from 1987, when the planetarium originally opened, our optomechanical projector. When you walk into the dome, you see this big machine in the middle of the room. That's Carl. That's what everybody calls him, because Carl is short for Carl Zeiss. That was the company that manufactured this projector back in, at the time, West Germany. The machine had been very well maintained up until the point that we went digital, and now we use it very little, so it's actually still been, at least, tidied up from time to time. But we can actually take it out and still show people the stars. People always are asking us if they can see it in action, and we're going to offer a special, we do it right around the time of basically Carl's birthday. We're going to have a show called Starkle Unplugged, the Zeiss Only Experience. So we'll bring that up, we'll keep the projectors off, and we'll show people how it presents the sky.
Oh, very cool. There's also some shows you guys do with lasers. Do you want to talk about
that?
those?
Yeah. So we rented for the first time in several years a laser projection system, laser graphics. So they fire lasers across the dome, and on part of it, they'll set it to music for many of your favorite artists. So artists going back to the Beatles. We also have shows for Taylor Swift and for Beyonce that will be playing. This will all be airing around the first weekend of December. Now, this graphic system, it's really quite distinctive. It's quite stunning what you can see up there on the dome. It's a lot of fun for people to watch. But we also felt that we wanted to cover up the entire dome. So we use our regular projectors as well, and we put up also our own graphics that we feel seems to match the mood of the program. It's kind of freewheeling the way that we work with it.
All right, freewheeling. Yeah. So that'll be, each show seems different and like a good time.
Yep.
So if you're interested, if it sparks an interest for you in learning a little bit more, obviously we have a lot of academic offerings in astronomy and physics and for people to dig deeper. Can you talk about some of our academic offerings that are really tied to the planetarium?
Oh, of course. So naturally, when people think about the planetarium, they think they might go in there for an astronomy class. That is true. They do go in there several times during the course of their semester when they're taking that class. We also actually have a number of other classes that will visit the planetarium to augment their instruction. The geology courses that people take, they come in there and learn about plate tectonics because we can visualize various parts of our planet up there in the planetarium. They also can come in there and learn about weather, learn about the seasons. Our other earth science course comes in there. Many of our introductory psychology courses actually come into the planetarium as well because those instructors, those faculty recognize its utility in showing how it can alter your senses of perception and sensation. Okay, so there's lots of neat things like that. We are working with many other faculty to try to introduce other courses to incorporate the planetarium into that instruction, but I don't want to announce those at the time because right now, they're still in the works. Okay, but yeah, that's what our classes offer right now.
Okay, and in the past, you guys have done the Kaler series and have lots of different talks. What are some of the past topics you guys have?
Yes. Okay, let me see if I can remember. So we always do the Kaler Science Lecture Series. At least one of those lectures is always about some topic in astronomy. We always invite some actual community college students who do some of their summer research to present to the public at that. In the past, there was a research experience program called PREX, where a couple of those student researchers would present their work in the dome in the fall. This year, we're going to have students from the newest one of these research experiences for undergraduate programs, Micro CCS. They will do a presentation as well. We've invited speakers from all sorts of scientific disciplines. We've shown the behavior of fish families. We've shown various agricultural things. Our show producer, Waylena McCulley, she works with her husband to actually show all of his bird photography up on the dome, and that's always a big hit. And we've also shown videos of storm chasing in there too.
Oh, wow. So just a variety of topics.
Indeed.
So you'd mentioned school children. So many kids from across our community come through your doors every single school year to learn a little bit about science and look to the stars. So what are some of the shows that kids get to experience when they come to the planetarium?
Well, when it comes to the students in the Unit 4 school district, we actually have worked with their curriculum coordinators to tailor a special, entirely live program that aligns with their curriculum standards. So they learn about various patterns of the earth and of the sky so that they can better connect themselves with those things. Because, when you look up and you see the sun, and, maybe at first glance you might not understand why the sun behaves the way it does, why we see the moon looking different from one night to the next, or why we see certain constellations at certain times of the year. Those are among the things that we talk about in those programs with those students. At other times, other groups might come in and want to see a show that we have pre-recorded that is maybe a little bit more entertaining, in a way like those edutainment type programs that you might be familiar with. We have a really fun show called Coyote Explores the Earth, Moon, and Sun. The Coyote has some kind of slapsticky components that kind of remind me of old Looney Tunes cartoons, but it also goes over many of those similar concepts about how the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun behave and interact with each other.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
And if I'm a community member and I just want to look at the sky at night and do some introductory stargazing, what are some tips that you have for our viewers?
First tip, get out of town. Okay, not like go away. I mean, literally get outside of town because you know that when you're in town, you don't feel like you see a whole lot. And it's not just because of the buildings and the trees around you. It's because the lights that are overhead are not very well shielded. Okay, a lot of them shine upwards and they make the sky considerably brighter. So with the local amateur astronomy club, 30 years ago, they set up an observatory outside of town, about 15 to 20 minutes from Parkland itself, where it actually gets dark enough that you can easily see the Milky Way. We have a lot of folks who spend now their entire lives without having actually seen the band of light of our galaxy across the sky. So that's one thing that we recommend people do. There's also plenty of resources online for people to learn about what sort of satellites you might see overhead, if maybe the northern lights might be visible at this time of year. And also, a lot of those sites can also share with you what constellations you'd see at that time of the year. Even the planetarium's own website, we publish a quarterly sky map that you can print off yourself or just look at on your phone, I suppose, and it would tell you what stars and constellations and planets you would expect to see at that time of year.
Well, Eric, thank you so much. This has been very informative. We have lots of viewing to do this upcoming fall. So excellent. Thanks for coming on to the show.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Great. Well, we'll go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll have Lisa Costello, who's the director of the Gertz Gallery.
Hi, my name is Samantha Beer. I'm an associate professor of accounting at Parkland College. I have been teaching here for 5 years and am one of 2 full-time faculty in the accounting department. A student that would be a very good fit for our accounting program would be very detail-oriented, organized, very good communication skills, enjoy working with numbers and problem solving. Also very important to have a strong sense of ethics and personal integrity. Our accounting program at Parkland College can prepare students for a number of different careers in accounting, from bookkeeping and payroll to tax assistants, accounts receivable and payable clerks, purchasing departments, as well as working in the area of cost accounting. It's also a great introduction for students that may be wanting to start their own business to get a good foundation in accounting and business to help them along. Many of our graduates are employed in local firms in the area. A couple of examples of that would be, we have some students working with Martin Hood and Clifton Allen Larson, for example. At Parkland College, we offer 2 primary accounting programs for students to follow. The first of those is our accounting certificate program. Our accounting certificate program is a 30 credit hour program. It can be completed in as little as a year. It offers courses primarily in accounting, business, and some Microsoft Excel. The second track for students is the Associate in Applied Science program in accounting technologies. That's a 60 credit hour degree. It focuses also on those business and accounting courses, but also offers a wider range of Microsoft Excel courses and some general education courses to kind of round out the foundation there for students wishing to move on in that degree. That degree can be completed in as quickly as 2 years. We also offer, outside of those 2 accounting tracks, a transfer degree working through the business admin program and focusing on some accounting programs for those students that hope to move on to a 4-year university. The community college setting offers a lot of benefits to students, from the flexibility of fitting class schedules into busy lives, especially for non-traditional students. The smaller class sizes, which gives you more attention and access to faculty. And obviously tuition is a big determinant when going and choosing a college. And the community college can really help students in that area. The accounting program at Parkland College is a great option for students hoping to get back into the workforce, maybe take a few extra classes to build up the career they currently have, or to try something new.
Welcome back to the Parkland Report. We're now joined by Lisa Costello, who's the director of the Gertz Gallery. Welcome back, Lisa.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I think that you and Eric are both regulars on this show. So
Yeah, I think we are.
it's time for us to touch base this fall and talk about what you have going on. And I know there's a show open right now, so maybe we can start with that.
Sure, yeah, we have our art and design faculty exhibition up right now, so it's pretty exciting. We've got a few new faculty, and the show changes every year as artists kind of grow and evolve. I always love to see what our faculty have kind of been working on over the year. And so we've got, I think, 8 artists who are participating in that show.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to come see it, do they just come during regular business hours and they can walk around?
Well, the gallery's opened from 10 to 5 Monday through Wednesday, 10 to 7 on Thursdays, and then we're open from noon to 2 on Saturdays. So we're closed on Fridays. I always like to remind people of that. And of course, we're open by appointment. If someone wanted to contact me and I'm available, I'm happy to open it up for them.
Great. Well, there's still time to come and see that show, but there's an upcoming show, maybe about veterans. I was hoping that
Yeah. So the Art and Design Faculty Show closes Saturday, September 28th, and then we have a week of show change. We install a new show, and I'm really excited about it. It's called Experiencing Veterans and Artist Collaboration Print Project. And so it was started kind of the brainchild of some faculty who teach at Tiffin University in Ohio. And they have a lot of students who are veterans. And so they thought it would be interesting to collaborate in some sort of way with the veterans to hear their stories. And what they did was Joseph Van Kerkhove, who's going to be coming here to speak, was one of the co-curators. And so what they did was invite other printmakers, he's a printmaker, to make work. So one of the art historians there interviewed veterans, and then the artists got to listen to the recordings, and then they actually made work based on kind of their experience listening to the story. So it's really a fascinating kind of collaboration of storytelling and art interpretation. So there's going to be 30 prints. They're all different types of prints from artists all over the country, printmakers from all over the country. So we're really excited about that exhibit coming, and we're happy that Joe can come and speak about the work and the experience of working with the veterans. So the veterans always get to see the work, and they get to respond to what the artist created. And if they don't like it, it doesn't pass. So.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
So that feedback loop really does
It
matter.
does really, yeah. It
This
really
doesn't
does
represent my story. It would be a hard
Right,
stop
yeah,
on it.
yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting.
And they really tried to interview people from different time periods of war and just anyone who's a veteran. So they have a really great website. I recommend people look that up if they want. It's called EVAC. And so we're really delighted to have that come to the gallery. And that'll be on exhibit Monday, October 7th through Tuesday, November 12th. So it's not a super long exhibition, so people need to come out and see it while it's up. But we will be open on Veterans Day, and so we're working with our Veterans Office for Student Affairs, I think it's called. And so there's going to be the Veterans Ceremony in the Gallery Lounge across from the gallery for that day. So I'm looking forward to that. So we do have kind of an unusual time period where we close on a Tuesday. Normally we close on a Saturday, our exhibitions. So that reception, we'll have a reception for that, and Joseph Van Kerkhoff will be there. That'll be on Thursday, October 10th, and that'll be from 5:30 to 7:30. He'll be speaking during the day at 1 p.m. at the planetarium. And we'll have some of our classes attend, but anyone in the community is welcome to come to that. That's free and open to the public. And then afterwards, we're going to go to the art studios, and he's going to give us a printmaking demonstration.
Wow.
So we're really happy about that. We have a few small presses. We don't teach any printmaking classes officially, but it's included in our color theory and two-dimensional design classes. So we do have a couple of presses, so that'll be really nice. And then a little bit later in the show, Melinda McIntosh has offered to give a demo and a workshop for our art design club, so we're working on that too. So there's a lot of programming that's going along with the Experiencing Veterans exhibit.
What a great exhibit. And I think one of the misconceptions maybe is that it's not just local art, which is obviously an emphasis, but that we're pulling in these national artists and sometimes international. Can you talk a little bit about your process in developing new shows or identifying artists or curating new exhibits? How does that process work from your lens?
Yeah, it is a really interesting question. And so it really depends on the type of exhibition. So with the faculty show, that's an invitational. I invite the faculty and hopefully they want to participate. They select their own work. And then I also do a call for submissions. So I have a national call out and people can submit their work and they can indicate if they want to be part of a solo exhibition or a group exhibition, that sort of thing. And then for those specific exhibitions, we kind of go through as a group. I have an advisory board and we try to select work that would be beneficial to us. Since we're a teaching gallery, we consider ourselves an academic laboratory. So we're not as interested in maybe, selling work. We're not a commercial gallery. We're not a museum. We're really a teaching gallery. And so we have kind of a nice space that we can kind of have some flexibility. And so we think about different things like what our tours, our group visits will get out of the exhibitions, what our classes will get out of the exhibitions, not only our art and design students, but the students at large. So like the Experiencing Veterans show is really interesting and broad in that we'll bring in, I think, a lot of people who maybe don't traditionally come to art exhibits, but maybe are interested in the whole veteran process and how the show came to be. So, so back to kind of curating the shows, I also ask guest curators to curate. And so we're kind of known for a ceramics biennial. So every other year we have a big ceramics show, and that's always really wonderful. And I love to ask outside artists to select the work because I think it really, if it's an artist who lives in, the mountains of Tennessee and they're really well versed in ceramics in that regard, they're going to have a whole different show than someone who's from this region. Mm-hmm. Or if they're, last year we had a really pretty amazing ceramic show and both of the curators were from Montana. And they were very involved in NCECA, which is like the educational ceramics world. So they brought a whole different group of artists that, some I'd never heard of. And so it's really nice to be able to have the opportunity to have, group shows that are curated outside of my world, so that's always really nice. So artists can submit work. We do that annually, but we only do 5 or 6 exhibitions a year, so it's very competitive when you think about just the number of shows we actually do. And then we do things like, we also have juried exhibitions, and we'll have artists submit their work to that, and then that's based on, it could be a theme or something like that. And then we have an outside juror select those works, because I don't want to be involved in that. So that's always really nice to have other people come in with their expert eye and select the works. So a good example of that would be our Around the Block artists from our neighborhood exhibit, which we do usually every other year. And that's a summer show. And artists from our Champaign County and Shouldering County, so our entire Parkland district, as well as kind of East Central Illinois, can submit their work. And so it's pretty amazing to see, you know, all of the art that kind of shines in our community too.
That's great.
Yeah.
That they'll have that opportunity to put forth their work that they've been working so hard on, and maybe they haven't ever been part of a show before, and they have that opportunity.
Yeah, and then sometimes they're really experienced, like they're retired, you know, U of I faculty or something like that. So it's really nice to have such a variety and have that kind of community building. So I really enjoy shows like that. So they're kind of all different. There's juried exhibitions, there's curated exhibitions, there's group shows, solo shows. Yeah, they all have like a slightly different way that they're put together.
Okay, no, that's really great background. We actually have a curated exhibition coming up by a member of our faculty. You want to share about that show?
Sure, I'd love to. So Peggy Shaw teaches photography and some video here at Parkland College, and she's on sabbatical this semester, and so part of her sabbatical was curating a show for Gertz Gallery, and so her exhibit is based on kind of lens-based art, so mainly photography, some video and installation, and that's called Flaw, Embracing Chance in a World Seeking Perfection. So I love how poetic Peg Shaw is, and the artists definitely show that. She's got, there's 6 artists that are going to be participating, and a few of them are from this area. One's from France, and so her work is being, sent over right now, shipped through FedEx, and so we're anxiously awaiting the arrival of that artwork. And then the rest are from the United States, so yeah.
Well, that will be a real treat just to see what she's able to put together. And you'd mentioned some of the group visit opportunities. So if there are community groups out there or school groups, they can actually come and take a peek and get to chat with you here at the gallery. What does that look like, and how does a group take advantage of that?
Yeah, so that's something that I really love. It's a highlight of my day when I get to give tours. So we have group visits, so people can come as a group. We have on our website a link, and people can sign up. It can be either a self-guided thing where they're just showing up on their own. Maybe they're a class and they want to do some sort of special project and they don't need my assistance, or I can come and give a kind of a group tour and talk about the work and engage the students. So like yesterday, I just gave a tour to our art appreciation group, and so they're going to be writing an assignment about 3 works in the gallery, and so I kind of gave them an intro to what we do and welcome them back, and kind of what's interesting to talk about in work, or if you have like a brain freeze and you can't think of what to say. We talked about some of those ways of kind of generating ideas to talk about work. So but we also do things like the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, and we have senior groups come in. And then I have a lot of regulars that come in as friends. They come in like a book club, and then they'll go out for lunch after the show. So it's really nice to see those regulars that come in too. Yeah.
No, it's great to see the community engagement just from all different corners. With our gallery. And so what else do we have to look forward to this academic year? I know we've talked about several shows or other things coming up on your docket.
Yeah, we've got, our Around the Block show, I kind of mentioned it a little bit. That'll be happening next summer. So we do have a few other exhibits in between that time, like the student exhibition and a solo painter show. But I wanted to give people in the community, artists in the community, a heads up that we will be doing a call for entries for that exhibit, and that'll be this spring. So if you're an artist and you're making work, even if you've never showed your work publicly, we'd love to have you submit. Or if you're a really advanced artist and you sell your work elsewhere, we'd love to have that too. And it's just kind of a nice way to bring everyone together and kind of celebrate the creativity that is here in Champaign-Urbana and the surrounding areas.
Well, Lisa, as always, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
All right, and that's it for this edition of the Parkland Report. We hope you'll join us next time.